Hi, my name is Carlos. I received a living kidney from a donor who happened to be an ex-coworker of my wife, and this was about roughly 2 years ago. Whew. Before the transplant, living with kidney disease and kidney failure was a challenge. Having to accept mentally what I was going through, and what my body was now doing or not doing. Um, it poses challenges not being able to help my wife with a newborn and me not being able to steadily work full time. Being on dialysis brought the same amount of challenges. Now, PD was great being at home, but being tied to a machine for 8 hours a night and having to deal with the machine, the prepping, and um, everything that comes with it the next morning, and dealing with, honestly, with a machine that tends to have loud noises at night when you have a newborn was in itself a challenge. Traveling was difficult. Eventually, I switched to a hemo in center, and even though I felt better and I thought that dialysis did more, I knew my body was not going to ever recover from that. I kind of felt like I was on a time clock as to when my body was going to give out. I knew I was going to get better. I was either going to maintain or get worse. For me, it meant that I needed to do something to proactively get a living donor. So I decided to try and find a living donor because I wanted to maximize if I was going to put myself through the transplant process and operation. I wanted to give myself the best chance uh, to have a better outcome and a long term outcome. It was the only choice for us. If we had to go through a deceased donor, I would have gone either. That's what became available. But my singular focus was getting a living donor and giving myself a healthy kidney where that had no previous trauma, and that where I could flourish, I could commit, and I can have a goal as to getting better and do what I had to do to make sure that I can extend the life of that kidney. The most challenging part of my journey was definitely when I was notified that it was time to start dialysis, and what that encompassed. Going through the training even opened my eyes more as to what I was about to go through and what I was going to put my family through. Um, in Also experiencing the difference between PD and HD, and having an infection that basically forced me to go from PD to HD was also difficult. And going through this, and still being able to help my wife as a man, as a husband, and with a newborn. Also knowing that I could no longer work full time, that I would have to work part time, and there was a lot of challenges about. Most of it was mentally. Fortunately for me, I was able to navigate every single day on what I had to do that day in order to achieve whatever goals I had. After getting transplant, initially I felt scared and excited at the same time. Excited because the transplant was successful initially with the surgery, but now I knew the realization of what I had to do every single day as far as my medications and diet and the do's and don'ts anymore, in order to not let this kidney go down the same path that my previous ones had been, or what I put my previous ones through to fail. So it was a lot of information. It could be overwhelming. The amount of doctor's visits, being cautious of not hitting the side of my body where the new kidney was transplanted was another challenge. It was a lot. It took a couple of months before I was able to relax and understand that I felt great, and what getting a new kidney meant, and remembering what feeling healthy was like again for me. I was excited to once again enjoy outdoor activities with my family without being tired, being able to drink water, being able to eat certain things, plan vacations with my family. It was all life changing. In the back of my mind, and simultaneously, I knew that I had to take care of myself. I had to take medications. I had to follow doctor's instructions at all times. So it was a go have fun, but also have fun with certain restrictions in the back of your head to extend the life of this kidney. What I learned from my transplant journey was to set goals for myself, and in conjunction with what my wife wanted our goals to be as a family. Um, Definitely trust the process, follow doctor's orders before transplant, communicate everything to your doctors, and don't be afraid to ask questions. You have to learn. I had to learn how to be an advocate for myself, and that's what I would also advise others who are thinking about going down the pathway to getting a transplant, either being a recipient or being a donor, is ask questions, advocate for yourself, trust your doctors, seek out good doctors. Ask other people in your position who they would recommend as a doctor in a hospital system to do the transplant, and to understand that you've been given a gift and that you cannot repeat the same mistakes that you did before that led you to having to depend on getting a kidney from someone else. Um, Believe in yourself, have a reason to fight for your goals, and to realize when something doesn't feel right that it has to be said to someone so it doesn't become a bigger issue. I would advise anyone to the time frame that you are taking to consider whether or not you want to get a transplant is also a time frame of life that you may never get back. For me, it was instantaneous what I had to do, and I hope others can trust that you have to move forward for a transplant in order to have some semblance of a normal life again.